Welcome to Season 12 of the Social Work Rants Podcast, providing an inside look of the social work mental health profession, social work being political, the struggles of social work entrepreneurship, the intersectionality of mental health and finances as it relates to social work and society as a whole. Let's get it. Hope you enjoy. Hello, social workers, mental professionals, and change agents. Welcome to another episode of the Social Work Rants Podcast. I'm your host, Bas Moreno. Saludos a todos. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in wherever you are watching or listening to the podcast. Make sure you like, share, download episodes, tell a friend. And especially on however you listen or if you watch the YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and leave comments. I do respond to the comments to one person show. So shout out to everybody that's been supporting. My guest at this time, she's no stranger to the podcast. She has one of the best social work podcasts in the world. If you're not listening to it, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice. Catherine Moore for Social Workers Rise. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing so good. Good to have you. So yeah, I'm Catherine. I'm the podcast host of Social Workers Rise podcast. I am a LCSW therapist, podcaster, author, speaker, all of the above. So we're doing it all.
Sometimes we have to do it all.
It keeps it fun though. It keeps it challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. On top of everything else that's happening in the world, we gotta do a whole bunch of different things. And the way the economy is, we don't have a choice but to do multiple things.
Yeah, I see it as a challenge. Like, okay, how can I pay my bills this month? What new thing can I create?
No,
You know.
seriously. So speaking of being a published author, I know you have the Clinical Supervisor Log coming out. Let people know what was it about, the whole process of creating that, what have you seen in the social work space that made you want to create such a thing, and how can like people get their hands on it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a clinical supervisor. It's one of the hats that I wear. And I'm also a paper person. So I enjoy just keeping something paper as opposed to virtual, like an Excel spreadsheet or something. So I don't know. I just find comfort in it. And so when I looked at the available options for clinical supervision logs, none of them were really standing out to me. And the one that I did end up getting in, it's fine, but there's parts about it that really annoy me. And so I kept telling myself like, okay, we really need to come out with this because we, meaning uh, I really need to get it together and come out with this because this is driving me bananas. And it would be my second book. So I came out already with the Rising Clinical Social Work Log and guide and resource book. So this was the first book that I came out with. It's specifically for associates, and that came out last year in 2025. And it has all sorts of resources and tools that I had just put together over the years that I had been using in my practice and that I had been encouraging my supervisees to use as well. So, and basic things that are super helpful, but the feelings and emotions charts, signs of burnout. There's a CBT diagram in there. So, really, tools meant to enhance supervision and to guide the associate even while they're in the field, because there can be times where we get stuck and we're like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, let's look at this feeling log and see what we can find. I don't know if you've been there where you've ever been in the field and you've just gotten stuck.
True, all the time, especially these last 5 or 6 years has been a few times been kind of stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, and that never goes away. I'm validating, like I get stuck too. It always happens. So that came out last year. So this year I came out with this one, the Rising Clinical Supervisor Log. It complements the associate's log. So you don't have to have both, but you can have one or the other, or you can have both. They work together. And this is really very comprehensive in that it has all of the resources of the associate's log, but it also has additional contract templates for the supervisor. And I base
Mm,
this off of the federal guidelines for the social work as far as what it is that we need to have, generally speaking, to be compliant. And it's not going to be perfect for every state. Every state, of course, has their own contracts and templates and things that they need to have in there.
right.
But it's if you have nothing, it is much better than nothing because it's something to protect yourself to help facilitate that conversation and so that the supervisee also understands, okay, this is the contract, this is what's going on. Each of you have something to reference. So so that's like the main gist of it. And of course, it's a log. So this was the structure that I like specifically. So information at the top, and then there's check boxes around the common topics that you would talk about in supervision, and then
Mm,
a big notes section for just things that happen and conversations that happen that you want to document in there, especially things that relating to safety. Discussed suicide protocols, discussed self-harm protocols, discussed mandated reporting topics, anything like that. And then the bottom section has a area for follow-up and the things that each person's going to do or the next topics to talk about. So pretty simple, but very effective. And I'm really excited. It comes out on February 18. Let me double check my calendar and make sure that's the right date. Let's see. Yeah,
I know.
February 18, 2026.
No, that's so cool. That's better than like any like you mentioned Excel, like just trying to track on your own using Excel or anything like that. Like that, how it's very comprehensive. Is in looks like a well binded workbook that's not gonna rip apart, get lost, and like what happened on this day, and you're trying to remember, and there's so many things going on, and try to keep track of your hours because, like you said, different states have different things that you need, especially when you're trying to get your hours. Now, is that for LM and LC, or that you're strictly focused on like that for LC hours?
Both of them. So as long
Okay.
as you're going through supervision, this log would help you. If you're a supervisor of associates, and same thing with the other one. If you are an LMSW, it'll still help you because it's a lot of the same clinical tools and resources that you're going to need to learn for the LCSW.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like, what what was your like kind of like experience of like I need to do this? Like what? Like it has to be an easier way to like track hours, like just your whole process of like coming together to do that.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even start without a logbook because I didn't trust myself to actually track the things that I needed to know because a lot of the trainings out there, they don't talk about how they track the topics and the hours and the supervisees. It's a lot of the legal regulations, which is definitely needed. But as far as organizing hours and topics and supervisees, I had no idea. So that's why I originally bought the the book to keep track for myself. And through using it and doing research and talking with other LCSWs who provide supervision, I came up with this handy guidebook and it's just much more effective for how I work. It's a good use of the page space because so many other ones they're just so they just drive me crazy, Bass. I just they just drive me crazy the way that they're structured. So this one works with my mind. I hope that it works with other people's minds as well. But I've reached out to so many different social workers and because I want that feedback. So if you do buy the book and you say, hey, Catherine, this bugs me, this could be better, please tell me because I totally get it. And I want it to work the most efficiently for the most people as possible. So yeah, and the process is I just had these tools sitting in different folders on my computer, and I kept pulling up the same tools, conversation after conversation with the supervisees, with the associates. And it took, honestly, this has been like a good year or two in the making because I've had this idea and I keep thinking, oh, I need to do it. I need to do it. And it wasn't, I work well with pressure. It wasn't until I started running out of space on my logbook. And I'm like, I'm not buying another one. I'm going to buy my own. And that really lit a fire in me to say, okay, seriously, it's time. So I just sat down for a good, I work in time chunks. So like a good couple hours throughout the past couple months and sat down and organized it and did the formatting and do do the surveying, asking people all the things, figuring out the publishing on Amazon. So doing all those things. And here it is. I'm so excited.
So, which leads to my next question. So basically, it's self-published.
Yes. Yep. Self-published on Amazon.
The good old-fashioned KDP.
Yeah, yeah. And I love it. I love it as a professional who's I'm not an author full time. So I love that I just send you the link and you buy it. And most people have access to Amazon and then they print it and ship it and
Mhm.
it's done. It's done. It does cut into the profits as far as if
Yeah.
I were to publish with other people, but honestly, it for me it's worth it because I hate going to the post office. It's like this irrational hate of mine. So anything to not have to go to the post office.
that that's one of the things of with like my first book. I had like a couple of people like who had bought the book. Of like, wow, it was so easy. Like I like we went to Amazon, hit the button, purchase it, and like it automatically ships it out for you, and people got it within a couple of days. So it's definitely KDP is definitely a good way to put it out there and be a published author, and like there you go.
Right. Yeah, it's a great customer experience too. They don't have to wait for me to get to the post office, but yeah, because you published your book also. You have your poetry book, right?
Yes, Triumph Through Pain, How to Maximize Your Full Potential in Hard Times. It's still out. It's also, I did an audiobook, so you could, however you listen, or you prefer to listen to the book, Spotify, there's a few other places that you could, purchase the audiobook. So yeah, released it. It's almost going to be like 4 years already, like 2022, I released it. And then the audiobook, I think it was like late 2024. I did the audiobook. I need to get this audiobook done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a little bit of a process. And yeah, that was every once in the blue, I'll still get a check through KDP, like somebody bought a book.
Hey, we like
so,
that.
so yeah, it's through a trauma response that literally came out the blue during I
Yeah.
started writing it during the pandemic and just after losing like 10 social work clients due to COVID and then like losing my mom from COVID and still had the self-awareness like I still need to move out of New York and become a first time first gen homeowner and wrote all that in a poetry book that like literally like middle of the night like just I need a pen and pad and just I literally like wherever I went in my house it's like I needed a pen and pad because like words just came out of nowhere
Yeah.
and boom a poetry book and then I'm currently in the process of writing my second full solo book.
Wow. Congratulations. Tell me about that.
Thank you. Yes, so it's like intersection of mental health and finances. Trying to decide whether to just focus on like Latino Latinx or include Black African Americans as well. So initially, I started it intersection of mental health and finances for Black and Brown folks, but uh, so that's where I kind of like a little bit stuck at. So I'm just doing the research. There's a lot of intersections of us in history that I'm currently reading about that somehow through the years and generations kind of got separated, unfortunately. So, and we've always had a racist president. That's I'm learning that like the hard way in my reading. So, no, Trump is not the first to act a fool and be a openly racist person running the free world. So, it's interesting dive in on watching the history and then kind of like basically the premise is not our fault of why we might be our generations within our families been struggling with with our personal finance because we not was not purposely taught personal finances and things like that. So like showing
Yeah.
reasons, giving the backstory or psychosocial is of us as a people of why we not weren't taught personal finance because we weren't supposed to be taught about personal finances
Right.
and be wealthy and things like that. So, but like kind of making that switch, kind of going back to 2020, that's kind of like the boom of like we're all in this together now. Like there's many good sources out there in terms of like we don't really have an excuse anymore. Now it's kind of trying to figure ourselves out what we need to do because otherwise we'll be left behind.
Yeah, it takes time, and I don't know if you agree with this, but it really takes that time, patience, and consistency to stick with this because I've been talking a lot about money and finances and specifically with home buying. And a lot of the people who I know, I live in a pretty affluent part of California, but the people my age, in their 30s and 40s, who live in how in like these really amazing houses, they didn't buy them. They're living with
Mm,
their parents, or their parents were able to get the loan, 50 years ago
right.
and buy it for $200,000. And now here they are living rent free. So it looks like they have all this money where they're in this $1 million house and they're doing upgrades and they're redoing their yard and building pools. And I'm thinking, what the I'm just trying to pay my mortgage over here. How are you doing this? But it's because, like you said, they had been set up generationally
Exactly.
for that. And so people like us or people like me just coming in knew where my parents, they did their best, but I didn't have any trust fund or houses that I can live in right now or and so I'm realizing now in order to set up my daughter, I might even be looking up at setting up my grandchildren. If I
Mm,
can start the investment now, I can take care of my daughter by taking care of her kids. And
right.
so I'm thinking like maybe that's more of a realistic thing for me to be able to take care of my grandkids. I don't know. What do you think about that, the long-term consistency?
I think that's where it's headed. Like I tried to like so I have like accounts set up that deal with like the stock market like for my kids and like teaching them about like hey like you own a piece. Let's say
Mm,
we stop by our local Wawa and they have like Tesla charging stations like we own a piece of that charging station technically because we are shareholders of that company or
yeah.
between Apple, Microsoft, and just kind of like building and it takes time. That's why we do so many things to try to get multiple or attempts to try to get multiple streams of income. So some of that money could go into like the stock market to build because I don't want them to they have to work to 65, 70 like our
Mhm.
generations and generation
Yes.
before us. And, like if they want to retire earlier and like have like this questionable income to like do whatever they want to do and not having to like literally like have their body break down because they got to
Yep.
work a 9 to 5 or do whatever they like we've been taught like to do. So like
Yep.
I don't really want that for them necessarily.
Yeah.
Now, if they want to
I,
do that, like that's on them. But I'm trying to start that to try to prevent that.
yeah. I have a question about the angle of your book. So, is this going to be about investing? Is it an overall guide for people who don't know anything about money? Like who are you going for?
No, so it's not an investment book. I'm not uh a certified like investor. No, I'm a certified financial social worker. My angle is pretty much just give like a general like history in terms of like how like our mental health like is really need to be more intertwined in terms of our finances. Like we're always stressed about money, especially in the economy the way it is currently. Like we need to pay our bills or all this stuff. Like we don't always just put two and two together and associate mental health with the finances. So tying that more in and using black would be black and brown folks or Latino specific. Like this is like our history of why things have not turned out the way it should have been for us, and how like now give that backstory of that and turn into like, hey, now we don't really have much of excuse now. There's like all these different resources, and I thought about doing maybe like a glossary of like words we should know in like financial terms, or what does that mean, and things like that. So it's still in the early workings. Like I wanted to do the research first and then kind of see like, all right, where is like the lane that I really want to go. Like
Yeah.
I've done like some like some workshops in terms of intersectionality of mental health and finances for Latinx Latino folks. So that part of that premise, like okay, I did the workshop, might as well turn that it has being part of the book, but not necessarily the whole book.
Okay. What have you found people that respond most to or most passionate, or they're saying like, "Oh my gosh, this was a game changer for me."
Pretty much, I was like, oh my god, it's so needed. But then like when trying to get into deeper, like, okay, do you need this or like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I do, but like that's when like the excuses like come in.
Okay.
So it's like okay, you need it, but like let's kind of like, or do you know somebody else who needs it? Like, yeah, that's a good topic. Especially I focus a lot on like caregivers and the sandwich generation because I'm part of that, you know, 20 something, 18 to
Mm-hmm.
20% of caregivers in the United States who are part of that sandwich generation who have taken care of an older adult while raising kids on their own. And we're stuck in the middle trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, oh my God, like my parent or grandparent did this, I'm caring for it, and my kids did this, and like thinking
Yep.
about college or like just the daily transitions that our kids go through, like and dealing with that, and then we got our own stuff. Or like, how much time do I need to be working? Like, I don't have enough savings in my account to retire. Like, how many more years I need to be working? Do a lot of people kind of like stuck, like may have to like change whole careers, and just the way the economy is now, like
Yeah.
that's even tough to do. Then with everything regarding AI, like it's just like a lot happening all at once, and now we're dealing with all that stress, and like we need an outlet to kind of like just at least talk about it. So that's where I come in, like and provide those one-on-one counseling, like just hit a vent. Like, what do you? What's the number one
Yeah.
thing you're stressed about? And like, let's go from there, and kind of have those like, counseling sessions afterwards in terms of like, all right, let's deal with like. I kind of use like the IEP model a little bit in terms of like, all right, give me one thing that you want to like solve right now, and kind of like give that individualized attention. Let's come up with an individualized plan for you to solve that one problem. Now, if you want to solve another problem after you solve that, then let's continue to work and solve that problem until like you feel somewhat comfortable in terms of your personal finances, in terms of at least your mental health and stability that you're able to handle what you're able to handle.
For sure. And just that niche, the sandwich generation, that's a huge book because I'm thinking of the people that I know who are in that generation in that situation. There's so many topics that they're struggling with as far as one, taking care of their parents as far as retirement, Medicare, managing those different kinds of accounts, the estates, if they have
Mm,
any property, setting up a trust or,
yeah.
they don't even know their options. And then while at the same time, how do you start a savings account for your kids or a 529 and their
Mm,
own retirement accounts for
exactly.
their own lives? So even within that, there's like so much to cover. So I love that. I love that, Bas. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When are you hoping that the book will be out?
I'm hoping like late spring, like before summer. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like I've been going to the library and I'm reading this book. I'm trying to finish that book and just trying to read another book, or I've been doing like two books at one time. So I'm like trying to knock out and then go back into those books. So like, okay, I highlighted this and then okay, how can I use this and write it in? So like I already had started writing it, but now I'm doing like the back end research stuff right now
Okay.
and just been doing a lot of reading. So I'm hoping like a late spring, like into like maybe May, well, definitely before the summer. I would like to get it out if possible.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. How do you not get information overload? Because sometimes I'll see all these things that I think I should add, and I keep adding and adding and adding, and I don't know when to stop. How do you not do that?
I don't think I've gotten to that point. I kind of think back when I wrote my first book. So when I wrote my first book, I'm also one of the co-authors of the Amazon and internationally bestseller Latinx and Social Work Volume 2. So I was writing both books literally at the same time. I was like planning my wedding during the same time. Ended up having like to look for a new job during the same time period as well. So if I was able to do all that, then just reading overload it's not gonna shouldn't be too hard. I just need to make
Okay.
time, and I just need to make the time to do it because like I don't want to read right now. I want to play PS5 for a couple
Yeah.
hours. Like no, I need to be reading. It's the discipline that's like kicking my butt sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So what you're saying is if your worst problem is too much information, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Love it. So excited for you.
Thank you. So um, I know like with we're talking about information overload. I know like us like social workers we like overthink things and things like that. Like I liked how your the log looks like a workbook and things like how did even like the way it looks like how, people kind of get stuck. I know with me like when I was writing the book and how it came out like you wanted to look nice and look like people can actually like buy the book
Yeah.
like how did you come up with the concept of how the book looked.
Yeah, well, first I just started with what I personally liked. So I always have planners that are this size. It's like a regular piece of paper, like piece of computer paper size. And then for the inside, I knew I just wanted simple and like no fluff, no extra anything. So even the lines are lighter. Like you can see the lines, but they're very light. It's very minimal, but organized. That's just how my brain works. I don't like all these extra things, like extra quotes and extra flowers and just clutter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and then as far as the inside, I already had a lot of tools and handouts that I had created already, and I already had fonts and colors within my brand. And so I just pulled those templates that I would use, and they were already kind of formatted the same. They already looked the same. They were already really simple. So I just put them all in one Canva document, put them all together and did it like that. And then as far as with the cover, this cover came out of some market research that I did asking people for their opinion. I had my very first book. I didn't do that. And I just put out a plain black book, which which actually sells pretty good. But the feedback that I got on that was no, it is way too basic, way too plain. It's ugly. Don't do that again, Catherine. So so this cover came out, and I have one other cover for the supervisor or the associate log. Um, just out of market research, I had people help me with that, and it was a work in progress because my brain just doesn't think creatively like that.
Mm,
I'm so, what's the word? I'm used to writing research papers. It's black and white. I'm like, look, there's the
yeah.
cover. It's done.
Yeah, I'm the same, similar in that way too. Now, I could come up with a funny meme based on like what I see like on TV or whatever, but in terms of like doing concrete, like Canva, no, I struggle with like the graphics and things like that. So,
Yeah, and it's a process because people will suggest things, but then it just doesn't feel right. It's just like
mm,
it's pretty, but like, and it's hard for me to put into words what's wrong with like, eh. That's the best I got. Yeah,
yeah.
the cover was a struggle.
Even with the market research, like how did you find people to ask? I think people kind of like struggle with that as well.
I have a mastermind group with four other women who are social workers and entrepreneurs. And so they were really helpful in providing direction. I have social work friends, like close acquaintances that I would ask for their personal opinion. I value them. I trust them. I trust them to be honest. I can't just have a bunch of yes men saying, yeah, whatever, it looks great. And so I have a handful of people, at least like 5 or 10 of those people. So I was able to get a good group of people who know the industry, who would actually use this tool to give me their honest feedback, which was super helpful.
That's good. You need those individuals and be in those type of groups and type of settings and to ask folks. 'Cause I think that's kind of where people struggle with that. I know I struggle with that from time to time. Like I'm in certain groups and things like that. You just sometimes you just need to put yourself out there and just ask.
Yeah, especially in our industry, people want to help. They're like, oh, yay, I get to help somebody. And they're so excited to do that. Like I asked a group of people like, hey, would you be interested in like early purchasing the book? And I was worried. I'm like, what if nobody signs up? Like 30 people within the first 48 hours signed up. I had to turn it off because so many people were like, yes, I want to help. So just ask. The worst they're gonna say is no, and then you're in the same spot. But the
Yeah.
best is you get to the next level.
No. Yeah. That's good. Good info for people like interested. Like just do it.
Yeah, yeah. Just do it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're people just like we're a little too old to be affected by a no. Like where we're not like in high school or middle school anymore. Like
Yeah,
to,
yeah. I saw this quote. If you knew you were 30 no's away from success, how soon would you get started?
mm, I like that. That I think I might use that for my next presentation.
There you
Uh,
go.
be, be, be talking to kids. I just recently did a presentation with kids, and working with kids is not my strong suit necessarily. Even though I got two teenagers, but still, like it's kids are just a different breed nowadays. So like
Yeah,
that's definitely good. A good
yeah,
tidbit right there.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Uh, so this workbook comes out like obviously my writing teacher is like publishing the book is the easy part. Now you just gotta like go out there and market it. So what else you got going on for 2026?
2026. So this is happening on February, what did I say, 18th? And then I am working behind the scenes on starting a membership for social workers, for new clinical social workers who are looking to gain confidence in their skills and looking for ways to apply that confidence to getting higher pay
Mm-hmm.
and a better job. So what I've heard over and over again from my community is we really want the support. We want to connect with people. It sounds like people just really want and need the validation. Like, hey, this happened at work today. Am I crazy? Am I missing something? Is there something else I could do? And so just bringing that to the community would be so invaluable and just saying like, no, this is just a really tough situation and you did amazing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just hearing that from 20 people is going to go so far. So I'm still looking at what that looks like on all levels, but mostly focusing in on clinical skills and then having that community part to it. So that's what's happening. I'm planning that for the end of March.
Oh, nice. Just in time for the end of social work month.
Exactly. End of social work month, beginning of graduation. I'm
Mm.
hoping it'll be well received.
I'm sure it will. Did did you celebrate 6 years of the podcast yet? Cause we started around the same time.
Yes, yeah. January was 6 years, which I can't even believe it. It's amazing. And happy anniversary to you too.
Thank you. Yes, happy anniversary to you. It's been a grind.
Yeah, I'll admit last year was really hard for me to keep up the podcast because as any creator knows that it takes a tremendous amount of creativity and space to be able to plan the podcast, to coordinate with the host, to I get all dressed up and turn on my lightings and everything for the videos and I don't live by myself, so there's always noise and I'm just like, "Oh gosh." So I came out with 12 episodes last year, and I'm used to doing weekly episodes. So I was really
Mm.
kind of hard on myself for not doing more. But this year, I'm really trying to give myself grace and come and be okay with every other week. Or if that doesn't happen, then that's okay too. So I don't know. How's the process been for you? Because I know you also you've come out with more episodes than I have. You've been on top
Yes,
of it.
doing weekly has been rough. I do want to give a rare shout out to the orange man in the White House who acted a damn fool, giving me ammunition to talk about. So I kind of been directly and indirectly using the podcast to kind of use what's happening in the real world and how obviously it affects many of us our mental health and coming with the theme being mental health and how think about I think about MSW students or new graduates or the first 5 years of your career and like everything that's been like happening, how it affects your clients, everything that he's doing, or potentially down the line. Because I'm already thinking about the fall and like the real aftermath of like uh the Big Beautiful Bill, like in everything that's happening with the Medicaid cuts and how that might affect the personal my personal life because I work at a hospital 9 to 5. So like see how that might affect my job if anything, or like I know like my state being in a blue state, Delaware guy, a lot of issues I've been learning about it. Um, so it's just kind of like that trickle down effect and kind of seeing like, people say, look, follow the money. So I'm like following like, how does this affect this and how it affects that and kind of throw it in the podcast form. So kind of been doing that. Like like to say stuff like I've been talking trash about Trump like forever. So but just you know, I like I want to say as much as I want to say, but like definitely I don't need no smoke coming down and like having like feds knock on my door or anything like that. So just in the fight with like kind of bobbing and weaving like a boxer and picking my spots. But it's been tough. Like there've been weeks on like, what the heck do I talk about? And then administration does something crazy, or like, all right, there you go. I'm going to talk about that. I'm always looking for guests. So prefer having a guest, and I know that sometimes guests last minute I can't do it. Something happened, and literally just happened like this week, and then I found out like people have lives, so life happens, and things are been crazy. So it's taking one day at a time. Like I'm trying to do weekly. Sometimes I'm like a little hard on myself, like or just life happens, and all right, next week. Make it. I'm trying to get to 300, and then like let's see what happens. I'm at 250 right now, so it's I'm trying to get to three by the end of the calendar year, and see what happens.
Yeah, that's amazing. You kind of hinted at the power that your voice has as a podcaster and as a social worker. Like, you don't want the feds coming for you. And it reminds me, like, yeah, we really hold a lot of power by putting ourselves out there, by creating these spaces for conversations, by inviting people on, by creating this platform. And I think that's pretty amazing.
No, it definitely is, especially there's just a lot of nonsense that's happening, and then like I get a little annoyed of not enough of us social workers in space talk about it more, and then I get annoyed of like organizations like NASW, at least on the national chapter, like should be doing more. Even though there's a lot of stuff that they're doing behind the scenes, but more feel like they need to be more upfront of what's happening. Your office is literally in DC, like let's go do something. So,
Yes.
I know, state chapters kind of do more in certain locations than the national chapter, and then it's just it's a lot like that. Everything's like intertwined. It's like you put your fingers together, intertwined. That's kind of how society is, currently. So it's a lot happening, and there's stuff to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll be honest, I feel some guilt because I have had to kind of distance myself from the intricacies of the politics and everything
Mm.
that's going on. And I try to learn about these things, but it's so much. And it just leads me back to this idea that I realized maybe, I don't know, a couple years into my career. I can't know about everything. I can't be an advocate for everything. So people, like I posted a picture of AI on me on my Instagram. People came for me in the comments. I was like, I didn't know this was going to be controversial. I thought it was a cute. But I just replied, I was like, okay, it looks like there's some more things that I need to learn about AI and the controversy there because it's not going away, no matter how much we
What
hate
did people
it.
say?
Oh, they came for me. I was like, oh, okay. Well, lesson learned. Won't do that again. But I can read you some of the comments. Oh, let me see.
the the last one where the I was like, oh my God, finally AI actually did a halfway decent picture of me. Like I was like all excited.
Yeah,
Like
I really liked it. So one person,
even though my cheeks was like really extra puffy, like but I was like, I actually want to bite my own cheeks. Like I look cute, like a cute baby with a big big chunky cheeks. And
yeah, yeah, no, I liked it. I look cute. I had my little coffee and chocolate. And this one person said AI is antithetical to our social work values of anti-oppression and empowerment of individual autonomy. Please reconsider. Another person said, no, AI is art theft and is draining us of fresh water used to cool down data centers. It's a social justice issue. Another person said, support local artists instead of AI. Another person, AI is killing our planet and is diametrically opposed to what social work stands for. Be better.
hmm.
Two people said it was cute.
uh, the,
I can't keep
the
up, Baz. I
the
can't
the
keep
the
up.
data the data centers like I understand that that was a big thing here in Delaware. Like they wanted to build a big data center and they got shut down like real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah. But it's things
uh,
like that. And then Epstein, I tried to watch the documentary. I can't. It's so depressing. And I got through the first episode and I'm like, this is heavy. And as an empath, we feel deeply. And I'm like, oh, the children. And I realize I'm so privileged. I realize it's not my, like, oh, it's just so messed up. I can't cope with it. I don't know. I feel
it's
bad.
my my thing, and nobody has come up with, or at least I haven't heard anybody come up with this. Okay, he was already impeached twice. We already know he's in it. No, are we really going to rely on Republicans to like turn their backs on him to finally get him impeached? Or are we actually going to wait to midterms in case Democrats somehow win and wait on them to flip and impeach? He already got impeached. Like he still won the election. Like what is going to be the end result? So like yes, I get they will. I feel bad for they were girls at the time. No, they're women, and we need to protect women at all costs. But what is the end game like of it? So like I watch in the news and they talk about it, but I deal with families like losing like electricity. They need housing. They
Hmm.
baby formula. I got moms who can't afford diapers, and I got to refer them to like diaper banks in my community.
Yeah.
I don't know that time to like my clients don't seem to really care or be affected by Epstein. So it's like what was whatever the government is going to do, they're going to do on that aspect because they doing two, three, four, 10 different things all at the same time. Um, so it's kind of like for me like a distraction to what's really happening day in day out. So
Yeah.
I can't really like focus too much on that. Like even like the whole like the Samantha Guthrie's mom. Like why are we talking about
Yeah.
that? Like it's if it was like a Latino or African American would not be. It could have been a African American host and like Don Lemon's mom or something like that. They would not be talking as much as they talking about.
They'd be like, did you see what she did 10 years ago?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, she's did marijuana.
I was like,
Yeah, yeah. No, people will come for you. Yeah. But thank you, Bas. That's very validating because you're right. I do handle all sorts of issues in my everyday life, and I'm helping all tons of people with real life urgent issues that, yeah, you're right. I just don't have the energy to get involved with everything. It's just not possible. But I like the podcast because I could be like, hey, expert, come on in. I invited one of the trolls on Instagram to come talk about AI, but they haven't replied yet.
yeah. I mean, like you say, AI is definitely not going away, and that leads also to kind of you either like learn it or you're going to get left behind. That's kind of where we at least in
Yeah.
America. Like, if you want to leave America, you want to leave the U.S. and go somewhere else, and if you got the money to do that, then maybe life would be different. By all means, and like I'm starting to look to see if that's possible for me too. But right now in the U.S. of A, as it currently is for the next, at least for the rest of this year, going into next, like as long as Orange Man's in the White House, it's kind of like how it is right now. And so you
Yeah.
either like you learn it and use the tools, and a lot of things make life easier. Like it's almost becoming like there's like so many tools that like it's almost becoming like the apps like having high school kids like they it's like a new app of how they chat with each other. Like I never even heard of this app. The same thing was like AI is like this new tool. This tool does that, or like use that tool. That tool's already played out, or like I just learned it. just started
Yeah.
using it. Now there's something else that makes it better. So it's like it becomes like now that is like information overload for me. So like let me deal with chat. Like I just did you've been using Gemini more. Let me deal with that and like, you know, let me use the Opus clips. And then like I think about Opus clips, I'm like, damn, I haven't used Opus clips in a while. I'm not paying for the membership. Let me go and
Yeah.
clip up these podcast episodes. So it's a lot. It could get like now that could be like overwhelming, definitely overwhelming for me. So
Yeah.
you just got to
Yeah.
do it.
It's no wonder social workers are overwhelmed. We like pressure each other to like be perfect and do all these things and know all these things. And I'm like, whoever's listening, I'm giving you full permission to just focus on your life and your family
Yeah,
and your clients. And that's amazing. That's amazing.
seriously, because it's really hard. Like just like and then like I just I even told somebody this like I'm dealing with my family, like myself, my wife, my kids, my dad, making sure he's taken care of, or
Hmm.
because like I literally got like no family members who who are special needs. I like literally had like a anniversary coming up of my father-in-law passing away, which I didn't really talk about that much. So like that's coming up. I'm dealing with that. Like my I actually get seasonal affective depression in the spring, like most people get in the wintertime. Mine come social work month, and then it come April all the way through like the summer. That's like
Oh, you're special, Bess.
so it's like it's dealing with my own stuff that like and then like I stay
Yeah.
informed to stay informed, and then like there's stuff happening in my own state. Like, oh my god, why is the state like kind of like falling apart? It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to take care of ourselves with all
yes,
of these things going on, all of the work to be done. Ultimately, we have to prioritize our own wellness, our own self. It's been a journey for me, especially this past year, just prioritizing my health and my
mm,
mental wellness, creating space and boundaries, and which is a big reason why I didn't do a lot of podcasts because I'm like, I'm gonna rest. I don't need to be researching and doing all these things for everybody else when I need to rest.
no, absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's a good way to end today's podcast episode. Make sure you rest.
Yes. Yes. Go rest. Take a nap. Turn off the news.